Willkommen bei den Caramels mit Brian aus den Vereinigten Staaten,
Hey!
Rafid aus Bangladesch
Hallo.
und mich, Bibi aus den Niederlanden. Wir sind 3 neugierige englische Studenten, neu in Göttingen, neu in Deutschland und teilen unsere Erfahrungen. Im Weiteren ist Bibi für die Inhalte verantwortlich. Nachfolgend wird der Podcast in der englischen Sprache wiedergegeben. Schließ dich uns an.
Hallo liebe Hörer, willkommen zu einer neuen Podcast-Folge von den Caramels. Heute sprechen Bibi, Brian und Rafid über Heuschnupfen und dass der Pollen eigentlich Luftspermien sein, über das Tragen von Gesichtsmasken gegen Luftverschmutzung, Allergien, Arterhaltung, Naturdokumentationen und den Beitrag des Menschen. Also, los geht's! Bibi, 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 bibi,
Baby.
Wow.
From Holland.
Hold up.
Weighing in
Hold up.
at 150 pounds.
Damn. Yeah.
Her signature moves are the exam deadline, finishing things on time,
And
the headscarf.
Bibi, bibi.
Wow, I feel honored.
How are you,
have it.
Bibi, today?
Stage.
Very hay feverish.
You've got hay fever.
I've got hay fever. And the fever part is real. Like,
fever
no
part's
joke.
real.
I actually break into sweats like when I start sneezing. Yeah, my hay fever is so bad.
Is there a temperature, with hay fever? Like, is
Yes,
there
you
warmth?
can actually, it is at that point. Like, my allergy is so bad that I actually get fever.
Oofta.
Yeah, that's where the hay fever part comes.
This
You
is
got
new
the
to me.
fever,
Yeah.
and the only prescription is more
Crack.
cowbell?
What?
What?
More hay.
No. All right,
More
well,
tissues. Like, Kleenex should just sponsor me at this point. Like,
Are you
seriously.
using a Kleenex product right now?
Not really.
That's
It's a
why they don't
German.
sponsor
I
you.
couldn't
God.
find it. This looks like the Kleenex, right? This
It
is
does.
exactly the same packaging. It's just
It's a decent knockoff.
It's-
It gets the job done.
it gets the job done. Yeah.
tissue.
Like, so the thing is, you get specialized in really weird things when you have certain illnesses.
Specializations?
Yeah. No, like issues. So
But to be more specific, what are you saying?
So, because I have hay fever, I
Yes.
am in need of tissues at all times. They
Yeah.
need to be there. Like, I get that runny nose that it just takes you by surprise, that kind of stuff. And like, I bought like so many of these tissue packages and I put them in every bag, every jeans, every jacket I have, like everywhere.
That's why
ev-
they're in my bag?
Yes.
you
Those
get
are
in my
also for me. So like I have them, but then sometimes I don't have these, then I just use whatever I have. So now I feel like I'm a specialist on every kind of tissue there is out there.
Dude, that's-
Toilet paper sucks because it just sticks to your nose.
and,
It's
and if
just-
you blow too hard,
Yeah,
It's-
especially after you do your poo, if you put it on your nose, it just gets stuck. But have you found
you
something
should
out
really
about
read
the?
the manual.
not me.
Is that so?
Very
You have a
tasteful
whole
joke.
study based
I have a
on
whole
like
study
the
based
texture
on
and like the
yes,
kind of
the
paper
texture,
that works.
the thinness.
What's
of
your
the
kind of
paper.
paper?
What?
Tissue.
For your
Tissue.
nose,
Just these average packaging tissues.
average packaging
Yeah,
tissues.
like the ones who, how do you call them? Like just who come in a pack of 10?
All right.
But I then have that box where you can just turn like,
Yeah.
with supply. Those are really thin. They don't work apparently. They're just
You're buying the wrong tissues.
yeah. And yes, the more expensive ones are more durable. Like they don't break after you use them once.
Lotion
Yeah.
sensitized and they
Yeah.
No, but why would they break? How thick is your mucus? Like, why are you breaking? through
That's
paper?
that's not the point.
Do you
The
have
point-
hay fever?
Do you
sir?
have hay fever? Yeah.
I don't.
Then don't ask questions
Sir,
about
let's stay the fuck
forcefulness
out
or-
of this.
This is new to me. I don't know what hay fever. I mean, I just know the name from
You don't-
TV.
You don't have hay fever. You don't know what
We
it
don't
is?
have so many buildings. The hay doesn't get to pass through into the city.
Basically, it's just an
It's just-
allergy.
Okay.
Of pollen, but it could be any kind of pollen. It could be any kind of trees, any type of grasses. It can be any type of flowers which are starting to bloom. So, for example, they don't have the allergy for grass. So when someone is mowing the lawn, they don't feel anything. But then when they're in a flower garden, they suddenly start sneezing. But you could have the other way around or just a combination of everything. So it's very specific per individual. Like, what are you exactly allergic to? What kind of pollen? So I have this friend, she's from India, and she's like, she has hay fever in India, but not here.
Yeah.
Because there's other kind of flowers and grasses and, trees, so she's not feeling it that way.
She gets regional.
Yeah, it's very regional. So,
yeah.
like, it matters, like, what kind of environment you're actually allergic to. So, turns out I'm allergic to everything.
In Holland, too.
Yeah, in Holland
Yeah.
too. Like no, but the thing is, it's so bad. I have big problems studying in spring and summertime just because of my hay fever. It's that bad.
You need
Like
it.
right now, I can't. My eyes are swollen, and I just feel like my eyes are heavy. So it doesn't matter how much I sleep. I always feel like drowsy.
Ouch.
So studying is just not happening these days.
That's
Yeah,
and it's spring outside.
it's super nice weather. Like
I mean, when it's raining, it's cool, but yeah, I guess.
so, rain is really nice. So the other day when it was raining, I just went out for a run. I was like, this is my chance. Like,
yeah. And
seriously.
you crushed it.
I crushed it. Like, oh, I'm doing great in that. But today I wanted to go run, but the weather's too nice to run. Can you actually believe that? Like, it's like, I don't want...
You're gonna get hay fever.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse.
I have like I guess minor pollen
Yeah.
allergy related stuff, but nothing. I always thought hay fever was just like the accumulation of all those symptoms times 10.
Oh, no.
And in actual hay, I'm not gonna lie.
Actual
I actually
hay, yeah.
thought like farmers.
Thank
were,
you. Thank you.
Farmers were out just baling hay and just.
There you go.
Hey, you've never baled hay before? Good chance you're gonna get hay fever, my son. Right?
I don't know.
I mean,
This is
pollen's
get out of
just
this barn.
air sperm, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Okay.
irresponsible.
That's what the
He jotted that
He-
down.
listeners out there.
you're
Pollen
not a
is
doctor.
air sperm. Write it down in your Google, then delete the search
He's
history.
not
No,
writing
but
anything
people
down.
people really underestimate how bad it can be. Like it sounds very innocent, and then you see these posters coming up, near pharmacies and everything, like hay fever tablets and tissues and all these kind of things, nose sprays available. But for the people who have an extreme form, it can be so bad.
It's a
like
big
it's-
conspiracy.
yeah,
Pharmaceutical companies enforcing hay fever so students.
I swear, it's
It
like
goes even beyond this. The alien overlords, they're just trying to control us. They just spray their dust into the air. And this is what happens to
so
us.
there's someone going out with a pollen spray. Just-
Yeah.
But dude, how do you? So you don't study at all then?
Yeah,
You have
I haven't studied ever since it's been actual nice weather.
Oh man.
It's that bad.
What do you do? I'm just picturing you
I just
sluggishly walking around.
She has to be in a bomb shelter. to
Yeah.
be able to
yes, that's
study.
actually what happens. I have to keep my windows closed so the pollen don't get into my flat.
Do you think about face masks, like one of those medical ones?
I've never thought of it, but I met my Chinese mentee today, and she was like, "Why don't you wear like a
Yeah.
mask?" And I was like, "I never really." Thought
Yo,
of that."
China, Japan,
They
Korea.
really, yeah,
Those things are fashionable.
yeah.
And actually, in the west of the U.S. too, it's starting especially at conventions and.
But doesn't it look odd?
No, people are
Here
so
in
the
Europe,
standard
it's
one,
like a thing.
the
no-
standard
yeah.
one, people think
Medical.
SARS
Yeah, yeah.
or bird flu.
Damn, that's a long
Oh,
time
that
ago.
guy's got bird flu. How do you know? He's got a beak. Though, but I don't know. They're fashionable. You buy them. They're reusable. You can wash them. They have
I could actually really.
warranties these days.
Is it
Yeah.
fashionable? I mean, wanting to breathe isn't fashionable.
Like-
It's just pretty extreme.
Exactly. But I mean, if you're living in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And air pollution
Smog,
is
yeah.
the smog, the air pollution is so shitty that just going to work for a week without a mask is potentially hazardous to your health. Wearing a face mask
Yeah.
is a must. So if I'm going to keep buying these reusable white face masks, might as well start to put my own personal spin on it. So you see ones with teeth on them, animal teeth on them, or
That
you'll
is
see
funny.
a design or something, different colors.
Yeah.
And when you go to conventions and stuff where people are interacting all the time, you'll see people.
You see them wearing them?
Yeah, you just wear them because you're not going to spread.
That is
'cause
actually
You
funny.
don't want to spread
Your craze
those
for video
germs.
games.
Exactly. Well, you want to spread your craze.
But
for video games,
they kind of understand it. Here you have seen that not many people, almost no one wears it. I've
Yeah.
never ever seen it being a trend, even not in Holland where I lived, not here actually even. So it's mostly the Asian students who I see when they are, when there's something, maybe they're not feeling well and they don't want to spread their germs. Like, I don't know. It's
That's what
like
it is, yeah.
yeah, so they really understand, and in Asian countries it's more like an accepted form of, trying to be healthy or not making everyone catch your allergies.
Dude, it's societal.
Yeah, but
compassion.
here, because no one is doing it, it just, you are kind
It's
of
like washing your hands.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my
Well,
dad
yeah,
does
it
it his
is
whole
if you
life.
think about it. So
So
you
it's
so
really
you
common.
recommend I give it a try?
you really should. I mean, I'll jump on the bandwagon if you want
Oh,
to.
like
Just because I don't want to get your hay fever. But, but yeah, no.
it's not contagious.
I tried to. I was gonna buy one. I had, I think, 2 of them in China, just because I adapted that to the neck scarf thingy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
It's like a bandana, but if
Yes,
you want
it's
to
a
kill
bandana,
yourself or
scarf.
something.
It's got a name. I'll come up with it later.
Oh.
But yeah,
It's also winter wear.
yeah, exactly. Yes, it's definitely winter wear. And so I'd wear that when I was biking, because literally I would just bike to work 45 minutes, and I would just
Wow.
like
okay.
get dust in my eyes and my mouth, and
Yeah,
so-
because they do say like they recommend for people with hay fever these days to wear sunglasses which are like closed on the side, so you don't get the pollen in your eyes. And also when I get home, immediately wash my face and like my clothes. When I was like back home in Holland, I used to come home and instantly wash all the clothes I was wearing that day and take a shower and then feel much better. But then I would just decrease the risk of me rubbing those pollen
Yeah.
in my eyes or
So
just
then
like,
you got into your bubble
Yeah.
after that.
Yes.
And then, okay. I know what
and
the
my
hell you
room, which was like sealed and closed like all day, at night open the window for some fresh air.
said. Man, you're like the doctor going into surgery.
It's really like a routine. It's crazy how bad it gets. Like
Damn. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, good thing there's a shit ton of people
yeah,
in crowded spaces, especially on campus. So,
yeah.
like, even if you wash your hands, wash your face, and then go to the library, all it takes is one touch.
Yeah, exactly.
One touch. Boom.
I've just given up this year. I've just given up. Like
It's
seriously.
like not even summer, baby.
I know. I know, right? It's just we're just halfway somewhere in June.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, what is
yeah.
it? What?
It's 14th
Ooh.
of June.
Halfway
14th of June. I guess it is. We're getting summer.
Yeah,
No,
it
I would
feels
say
like summer.
kind of-
What? Rafid says it feels like summer?
So it must be true.
So it must be true.
The Bangladeshi himself.
I mean, I have my, what do you call it? I've got my finger on the pulse of the heat in the air. Because, I was raised by heat.
Well said, yes. You were.
So I can tell, like a dog who can tell you like there's an earthquake coming.
Yes.
Can dogs do
The
that?
heat wave is coming.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I freak out when the temperature goes up. Like 2022, I'm done.
Today is 26,
So yeah, I've got that fan running in my room, and
which circulates
All this-
like hot air.
Yeah,
in
all
your
this
room.
European is always cloudy bullshit
Yeah.
isn't real. Not here in Göttingen.
Yeah, for those whole 2 weeks we have proper heat.
In
Like-
in lower Saxony. Nope.
Oh man.
It's getting caught.
yeah, it's gonna get hotter. This is the global warming episode I feel like we're doing right now.
But okay,
Hay fever. To,
attaching hay fever to global warming. So the problem is, like
What did I
all
say?
these flowers and trees, they're supposed, and plants just in general, they're supposed to bloom at different periods of spring. So it's not they're just like, it's not like they're supposed to bloom all at once.
Okay.
But you have this whole period of being it so cold for too long, and then suddenly spring is there. Like suddenly it's 22 degrees and the sun is out. It's
Yeah.
not rain. It's not cold. Just from one day to another, it just switches,
True.
and then everything blooms at once.
So you're saying like the dandelions and then the lilies and then the
Everything.
morning glories are
Should
all
just chill it a little bit.
they're
Yeah.
all supposed to be taking their own scheduled departures.
Exactly. So they have like their 2 weeks in April, then they have separate times in May,
okay.
and like at the end of April. They have their own schedules actually, but now for the past few years already, 2-3 years, actually maybe even more. It actually was in the news as well to explain why more people are experiencing hay fever symptoms.
Huh.
This was in Holland. Like
Oh,
more
shit.
people showed up at the doctors with these kind of symptoms. So the people who had like super mild hay fever suddenly had like very strong hay fever symptoms. And then they checked it, and that's like how they explained it. Like now everything is blooming at once. So
Shoot.
even people with mild types of hay fever are experiencing like this extreme pollen count in the
Yeah.
air. So it's
I mean, that's even worse for Netherlands. You guys got so many windmills.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys have only flat land. The pollen just, it's on the Autobahn. You know,
I mean,
it
the
just flies.
anti-windmill lobby, they're so happy right now.
Yo, you should see cars like at the end of the summer day. They have like this
Oh,
weird
yeah.
green
Ooh,
yellowish
yeah.
glaze. Like, oh, that's the worst.
Just take that and spread it on your honey.
I swear it's gonna kill me one day. That's how I feel. Like, you know, like how you have those stories with people. Was it like in a Dan Brown story? Like he feeds that guy peanuts in a coffee, or he blends it up, or I don't know. He gives him something.
I don't know that, but I know in Horrible Bosses.
It's Da Vinci Code, I think, and maybe it's in that one. I don't
There's
know.
a Horrible Bosses movie where they're like, they find out the guy's
Oh, yeah,
got
yeah.
peanut allergy and they put it in his shampoo or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
right, the movie with motherfucker Jones, right?
Yes, Motherfucker Jones.
Yes.
Indeed.
They're both the same movie. I mean, they're both by Dan Brown.
I think it was also
One plot's better.
Yes.
like I think it was Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, I actually never saw it.
No, I read it. Like it was. I think it was it's this assassin, and he hires this dude who works for
Spoiler
him.
warning.
So yeah, and then he needs to get rid of him, of course, now after the job is done. So he does like friendly coffee
Walk
or
around the
something
grocery
like that.
shop.
Yeah.
How am I gonna do this?
Or maybe even on a clock. I don't remember how he does it, but something with a peanut allergy, and then he just gets him that way, and
Damn.
he dies.
No EpiPen in reach.
Yeah, it was like so. That's how I sometimes feel about the pollen. Like
Peanuts.
that's yo, that's like nature's weirdest thing sometimes.
Yeah, hay fever and peanut allergies. We're
Yeah.
coming for you.
She's living in a Dan Brown world
You,
right
you
now.
keep putting stuff in my atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep putting stuff in your coffee, bro.
Oh man.
I don't know why.
No, but
You've been vaccinated, right? You got all the shots?
question is for what? Like,
For everything.
yeah.
Okay.
What?
Interesting.
But you said for allergy stuff, you can get certain
Yeah,
vaccinations.
you can.
You don't have them though.
No, if it's
Okay.
real, if you have any kind of allergy which is really bad. So like for example, a friend of mine, she had an allergy, but she didn't know to what. So she would just go about her day, have all the kind of foods she would have, like lunch, dinner, breakfast, everything. And she didn't know what it exactly was that was causing her allergic reactions.
Yeah.
It would get so bad. Like one time she even got admitted to the hospital that's how bad the breathing got, and she got like all these rashes. And
Oh my goodness.
so they didn't know what it was. They do this special test, and then you get like separate. Okay, so they take your forearm,
Dude.
and then have you ever seen that?
No, I don't. But when they quote it as special test, I'm always like, these doctors don't know shit. What?
No,
like
it's-
this special test.
Yeah, this is okay. This is a legitimate test, an overall allergy test to find
Yeah.
out what kind of allergy is it do you have. So they take your forearm, they space like different dots on your
Yeah.
forearm, and then they inject like kind of the substances they need. Like for example, you have one for fruits, and then you have like different kind of fruits, and you have like bees, you have pollen, you have peanuts, and then they inject them in, and then they look at what you reacted to.
Tic tac toe.
And then you have to, yeah, exactly. You have to stay there, and then they see like how you feel, and then that's how they kind of narrow down every time. Like, okay, so it's a kind of a nut, okay,
Yeah.
and then they do different kind of tests to see, okay, like what kind of nut exactly. So that's how they narrow down like what kind of allergy you have. And then she found out it was, I don't know, weird, something like strawberries.
Yeah.
And she didn't
Oh.
notice because she would just like have it on a toast, and
Yeah.
it was like, okay, but you also have that sometimes in other products, so you don't notice, but
you
you're
really,
just,
it's the whole day.
yeah.
You take all the stuff you interacted with,
Yeah.
and then you just take each sample one by one.
Yeah.
But like I have a cheaper way. You can come over to my house every
I'll
night.
just feed you. You just wait, and then
What'd you have? You have Cheetos yesterday? All right, let me rub some Cheetos on your.
that's how they do it. They kind of like
That's
rub
what
it
I
on
mean,
your
like,
skin and
at
see
the
what
end-
happens.
I mean,
That's how you recruit also.
that's how. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All the people in that
Cheetos.
basement.
Would you have? I mean, for me, like I had it in China. I was allergic to the cheapest brand of laundry detergent.
Oh,
So I just
how
With
did
your
you
s-
find?
with
How
your
did you find
sandwich?
out?
I found out because I was talking to someone and I was like, yeah, for some reason I'm breaking out in hives every time I put my shirt on. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
It's not a
So
brand
you
new
just,
shirt.
Yeah, you just connected the
The
dots.
shirt.
Like yeah.
I put the shirt on in the morning. I started to scratch, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the shirt I recently washed. I recently bought new stuff, so I always had to buy the imported Tide, which was like more expensive. but
Yeah.
God, you're so spoiled.
Yeah. So spoiled. I'm buying imported Tide. Yeah. Smell these clothes?
Yeah, I mean,
Smells
allergies are
straight-
scary.
Well, super American.
Straight off the boat. That's an airplane.
That's some Red Cross shit.
Airbus.
Yeah.
But like, okay, wait. So, Rafa, do you have an allergy story? Like, what are the kind of
Dude,
things
he's
that they have an allergy
Social
for?
stuff.
Social allergies.
No, I mean,
Human
besides social allergies, yeah. Yeah. Like, right now, being with you guys. And
I knew you were breaking out in hives. I could see
I
it
think,
from all the way over here.
what you said about your friend,
Yeah.
I had that, like, up until I was 17.
Yeah.
So I was, like, very ill as a child, so they would take me to the hospital a lot. And they never knew what it was. So I always...
You were a sickly child. Couldn't tell.
And I had a severe, strict diet, which I still follow. I only eat a few things, and I've never had any interest in trying new things. So
Playing it
my
safe.
thing was, I'll eat something. I don't know what it is, even like if I'm eating at home. So I'll eat something, and the way I know that I have allergy is I'll get these small circular like spheres, hemispheres on my skin,
Like bumps, or you mean just like
like an inverted crater.
okay?
Oh, damn.
And so after a few hours, they will all join together. So now I have grown as a person.
Yeah.
I'm fatter.
So you
Yep.
swell up.
I swell up, but they start as small balls, and they're so sensitive that sitting down or
The Black
wearing
Plague,
clothes.
man.
Are they painful or
Yeah,
like
I would cry a
itchy
lot.
kind of? Okay.
They're not. They don't turn
it's
black
so it's
and then
it's not
spew
itchy,
pus,
but
do
it's
they?
just like so. No, there's no pus.
Okay.
It's just like very sensitive, and it hurts a lot. So I just cry the whole day, or like for however many weeks it would stay.
But did you find out then? What?
So like yeah, like different hospitals and shit. It never really they never really found out. So I was reaching my teens, and this one final time it was like so bad. So I was like, all right, we'll go to the doctor again. This is the same doctor we've always went to, and he's like one of the top doctors in the country. Like my dad likes to say, he also treats our prime minister. So we went there, and
That's such a brown people thing to say.
but also he treats the prime minister. Have you guys been to the doctor who treats your president, prime minister? No. Okay.
No,
So as I
haven't,
was
but
saying,
I'm just listening. I'm remembering what you said about your family dentist.
and who treats the dog also. And so I was just going to the doctor was so hard. So my dad, he had to like carry me like in his arms, like cradling me almost. He took me to the car, and he didn't tell my mom. This was like the final solution. What to do?
Which doctor?
So we went to this doctor. Like her friend, they said we will put in like different things, see which one she reacts to,
Yeah.
and find out what she's allergic to. But they've been testing me my whole life. And my whole life, like, so going outside, junk food and fast food, it's been in my life for the last, I think, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, all this is very new to me. So
Junk food is new to you. 2 years.
maybe I'll have junk food back home maybe once in 7 months.
Okay.
What
So everything
the
was like
hell?
home cooked. Yeah. So he took me to the doctor. He gave this shot. You have to take 2 of them, and
Shot.
it'll fix you for life. Got the first one. I got the first shot, and I don't remember what I collapsed.
For real?
Yeah, I think that was the first time in my life I felt like I was dying.
Big needle.
No, it's just not a needle thing. Just whatever like went inside my veins instantly. I just
man.
fell.
Wow.
Dude, this is
And-
your comic book origin story.
Yeah,
Holy
I just
shit.
fell, and it wasn't painful, but I didn't have any strength, and I just lost consciousness. And now for the second shot, because this is supposed to.
Wait, you're already unconscious. How are they gonna do this?
Dude, he was outside. He was having an out of body experience.
No, but I came to in
He
like
couldn't
a,
tell
Oh,
them
he came
anymore.
back.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
in like a
he
few
came back and
minutes.
they thought this is a good time to just
and
go
my dad's
on.
like, okay, let's do round 2. He doesn't know.
Okay,
And I think my mother found out somehow,
What?
and she was like circling the area in the car.
Where's my son?
She's like calling him on the phone.
Oh shit, you're dead.
Where are you guys?
Kidnapped.
Wait,
Pretty
your
much.
dad kidnapped you to get you an allergy test, which
She
was
thought
kind
he's just taking me to see the doctor again,
of okay.
but he decided to do this extra thing now. And they found me, like she spotted us. And then she took us into the car, yelling and screaming, because she can see, like, she's like saying, like, you were gonna kill him and blah blah blah. Because I look really bad.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, I had no
Damn,
strength
that's, like,
to like
very-
What happened?
sit upright.
Yeah. If I was
And
your mom, yeah, I would be flabbergasted. They put what in him?
yeah,
And now he's this?
but since then,
My baby boy!
never happened. Because my allergies, I mean, it was something that I carried like for like 17 years, and it was like every few months. So I had to skip class or whatever for a week or something. Swellings.
Yeah.
I would gain like a few kgs, and I'll be like bigger, and then it would go away. So it was pretty bad. It was the worst actually.
Damn.
So now it's gone, and
It's pretty bad. It was the worst, actually.
yeah, so 2 shots. I had just the one, but still now the fear still stays. So I don't experiment with food, and I have like no interest at all.
Dude, those shots were magical.
They were magic shots. I don't know what they were.
Do you know the doctor? Was it the same doctor as always?
The doctor gave the shots. You buy the shots from the pharmacy downstairs. But the pharmacy people, if you go to the pharmacy for cheap, you can also get shots done over there.
Yeah.
Or they will also like take a blood sample and send it to the hospital, because they're all linked together.
Yeah.
So he didn't even take me to the hospital.
Like no pre-blood work or
Just,
nothing.
cross the road, go to the hospital,
Oh,
sit
boy.
down on a chair,
Wait.
and have someone give you the shot.
So he...
Instead, he had me like sit down on a stool or some bullshit with medicine cabinets all around me. Like, it's like a drugstore, right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
this guy came and was like, "Don't be scared." And I'm very scared of these things. Yeah. And just the needle itself, it's very scary. So I think it was made like extra scary because of my fear of needles.
Oh, there was no comfort at all.
You have a
in
fear
that.
of needles?
Yeah, I mean, the last time in Bangladesh before I came here, like when I had a blood test, it was so bad. All my family went to the hospital with me. I have pictures.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I went, and they had like the nurses, and they're like all laughing, like, "How
Family
old are you?
vacation.
Oh
Don't
my
be so
God, I know,
scared."
that's the worst, right? When they're
Yeah, and-
shaming you for your...
No, they don't shame me. They're just laughing, and I'm like trying to make them laugh.
Sounds like
also.
shame to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to make them laugh and whatnot. Like, it's fine. And like, my mom's there, my sister's there. She's like enjoying this whole thing, like taking a picture and video. And my dad's there. Like, it's really scary for me. So for me, it's like, if you want a blood test, or like, if you're gonna take my blood, do it when I'm asleep and tie me down to the bed and then take my blood. It's that extreme. So getting that
There's
shot,
a lot of people like that, though.
yeah,
so.
getting that shot was horrible. So there's the fear of needles, and then the shot itself and what it did to me afterwards.
The fear of needles is
Yes.
the worst. I have it too, and it's so bad. Like
is.
one time, like I did biomedical lab sciences. So to work in a lab, you need to be vaccinated against hepatitis B, I think. So like any type of blood you work with, if something breaks and you get like a wound, it shouldn't be contaminated. If it does, then you don't get ill. So like people who work in the lab need to get that kind of vaccines.
Yeah.
So it was for all the students. They had to like line up and come for the vaccines, like everything at the university. And there was this huge line because the batch of students was quite big. And every time it was almost my turn, I would just go back into the line
That's cute.
until I did that for a whole day, until I
Oh.
was the last person who actually had to do it. And the woman is just like, "I've seen you do that all day. You have to like get your vaccines, otherwise you can't continue these studies." I was like, "Okay." And then she had this thing where you lay down, like,
Yeah, the lay down part.
yeah, lay down part.
I don't
So
know.
you like
Like a gurney, but not really.
Yeah.
like a hospital bed, like
There you go.
I don't
There's a
know.
word, yeah.
So they had that as well for in case any student faints. So I lay down and I have a friend and I just squeeze her hand so hard, like she almost feels her bones break, and I just getting like a vaccine, and it was horrible. And then one time in Pakistan as well, like I was ill, I had an allergic reaction to something, and I just wanted a cream which I can just use for the rashes on my hand.
Yeah.
And the doctor just goes, "No, it's quicker if you just get like a injection." It just goes straight into your blood and you're just like done with the allergy, you're having. I was like, no, I'm fine. Just give me a cream, He's like, no. And I don't know, I was a teenager. So for them not old enough to know what
Yeah.
really suits my
Yeah.
preferences. So you just like, in the end, The doctor is holding me, the nurse is holding me, my mom is holding me, and my aunt. All of them just like so that I get like an injection, and I was hyperventilating, so I like fainted
Dear
afterwards.
God.
And it was horrible, and
So
they just like
relatable.
Oh my
insisted
gosh.
on just getting it done because the doctor was like, "I know what's best for you," and
It's
I'm
like,
like, "Fuck
waterboard
this
me
place."
instead. I mean, this is the worst.
It was horrible.
Did you guys have psychology 101? Like the beginner psychology
No.
class? There's
Yeah, we
like
did.
the whole... You did? Okay.
Yeah.
So you know like the Pavlov thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the...
So then after they teach the Pavlov, they teach the negative reinforcement stuff. So like if you get bit by a dog when you're a kid, for the rest of your life you're always afraid of being bit by a dog. I'm totally misquoting this. I got a C in the class, so
okay.
It shows. It shows.
thanks.
Good source.
But there's a moment that we had this teacher and he's like, yeah, so my daughter got bit by a dog. So I'm doing it perfect.
Yes.
Voice. My daughter got bit by a dog. So what I did when she started crying when she saw a dog, I put her hand on the dog. And then she was crying on the dog. But the dog was nice. So I made her stand there touching the dog for, I don't know, an hour. Finally, she stopped crying. And guess what? She's not afraid of dogs no more. Boom.
And that was a snippet from the new Adam Sandler movie coming
That
on
is,
Netflix
like,
this month.
so nice.
When I literally was also scared of needles.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can't be scared of needles my whole life. I can't be hyperventilating
So
when I
you
need
just
to
got a
go.
pack of needles and then
I just got 24 used needles.
And now he's a heroin addict. That's how it started.
wait, you know what my friend did? She told me to go watch like a very specific scene of Saw. I don't know which
That's
part
like
it is.
torture therapy.
I don't know which part it is, but do you guys know which scene I'm referring to?
You mean every scene?
Yes,
in
I do
No,
know.
like-
The lady gets pushed into a cat, like a little. I know exactly the scene.
It's like they dug up something and it's needles.
It's literally.
It's filled with
the
needles.
key
It's like
is in the bottom.
like a
of
bed
the-
of needles
It's
or
a
some
needle
shit?
pit.
it's a needle
actually.
pit, yeah.
There's a pit of needles. The key is in the bottom of the needle pit. So she has to jump into the needle pit and grab the keys. I won't spoil.
Yeah. But that's basically the scene, and I was like,
A needle in a
Oh my
haystack. It's a
God.
little reverse.
Yeah.
Hay fever in a needle stack.
Yes.
You know how it goes.
oh man.
No, but I literally like I think I gave blood or something, and I just was like, okay, I always don't look. I have to look and just watch this person putting stuff into my body, because otherwise, you guys are both squirmy.
I'm like,
I literally just sat there and I watched the person stick the needle in my arm.
I can't look. Like,
And
even in
I was
movies.
like, wow, it goes really far, actually.
What?
What an angle! And then the lady, she was actually surprised, like just looking at me, like
Like, wow, he's really into it. Like,
and maybe she reevaluated her life. Like, I'm
Are you a
sticking
sadist?
these- Yeah.
I just stopped looking. Like, I know, like, they have. You know, when I was in the hospital, that was the worst because they would come in and take blood every day just to
Yeah, dude.
check your blood level and everything.
Dude, that's your body.
But yeah, I just stopped looking, and now I kind of, it's okay. But I do get kind of lightheaded just because
Yeah.
of the idea it's happening, but I just don't look. I don't think I will ever get to that point where I'll be like, you know what, let's face my fears. I'll just look, and then I'll just be like, there's a needle in my arm.
Obviously, yeah, you need to take it in stride.
Yeah.
That teacher, the professor who told us that he put his daughter's hand on the dog, that's traumatic. Like
No, but it's the
kinda-
same as, you don't
But
know how
that
to swim.
that's
I'll
how
push you into the pool.
how it works.
it could work or make it 10 times as worse.
It's called
you know?
exposure therapy.
Yeah, thank you. That was probably
Or
the
dumb
lesson.
parenting.
Or dumb parenting. Yeah.
No, it kind of works. That's how that's how they also treat traumas and like all these other kind of phobias at the psychologist.
That's not far from shock therapy, I think.
Shock therapy.
In
yeah,
some like people's idea, like let's just
no, but that's how
create
they
a-
really do it. Also with people who are afraid of spiders and that kind of
I am,
things, you
yeah.
know, like that's how psychologists, like if it's really bad and you go to a psychologist, how they do it. Like
Yeah.
they offer you exposure therapy and they
Or, just take the shortcut and kill the spider, which is what I do.
Boo. My dad, when I was a
I was
little
scared to
kid,
kill
put a
spiders.
spider on my hand and just like, see?
nothing happens. Yeah.
The daddy long leg spider. It's poisonous, but its fangs are too small to kill you. Wow. That's
really,
so cool.
that's so cute, actually.
Yeah. It only eats
never-
and kills other spiders with its venomous fangs.
No, I never kill spiders. Even,
Come on, man.
I don't think they're scary. But I do have
What do
like
you mean,
creepy
come on, man?
crawls.
You're not in my
They're
house.
the punk rock
You-
bees of
yeah.
No,
the
they're
woke generation.
I do
scary.
get like goosebumps because I see like anything crawling or any, like cockroaches. Like, ugh.
Cockroaches are like, even at night, you see those flying insects who are attracted to the light.
Yeah, I hate those. Yeah.
Either you have 10 minutes to leave through the window or your dinner. I can't stand it. It's too much. And
I more have like I
I
have
do
to
swat
get
the
them out of
thing.
my room, so I'll just try to catch them. Or
Do you have bugs in your room here?
No.
'Cause, I mean, it's weird for me. In the U.S., every apartment or every building has the window, and then you have a window frame, and then for the window frame you have a screen,
yeah, a
Oh.
net.
a net,
Yeah,
a
we-
net
yeah,
or a
we as well,
screen,
yeah.
even doors.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Germany, I don't know if it's the same in the Netherlands as well or Bangladesh, but there's no screen. So when you want the fresh air, or in BB's case, when you don't want the fresh air or the rain, you open the window and anything can fly in. Like
Yeah, that's-
your lights on. That's just
in Holland, no screens. It's just
Exactly.
scary.
So it's
a
very
red
scary
light
for most
district
of the world.
for
you know?
insects.
But that says something about what kind of like environment you live
Yeah,
in.
true,
Like we
true.
don't have that many insects. It's
Oh.
really rare you see
We
an
do.
insect.
I'm from the swamps. So
From the swamps.
so we have the net and the window. Mosquitoes, it's a huge
You
thing.
do have that.
That was
Yeah,
a
like
perfect
hay
moment.
fever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some pussy shit. We have like, dengue and all that, malaria, people dying from all that.
You're
bullshit.
so right about that.
So
Our issues is like we don't want the bumps.
I mean,
And
no
I don't
one,
want the
no one
itch.
really sits down with the kid and shows the spider, and it's not gonna kill you. You live in a concrete jungle in a city.
Yeah.
So whenever you see spider, that has already been inside that chemical, whatever you see, and it's now a mutant, and it's now on the
Ew.
wall, and it's huge.
Yeah, when-
So that's the first sight of a spider. We don't see baby spider. We always see the big one. And then, you scream for whoever's in the house, and they'll deal with it. Now there's no
You
one to
murdered
deal
the-
with it.
You murdered the spiders.
So now
they leaked out of the chemical.
no, but it's
compound.
I think only once or twice I had to hit them. But usually I'll get someone to
It takes multiple hits.
get rid of the spider.
Yeah.
We have crickets, so we're good with aiming. So
Yo, crickets or what do you like grasshoppers? Oh, they're quick.
They're very
hard to,
quick.
like-
We used to catch grasshoppers and
Really?
yeah, you know how they fly as well. So
Yeah. Oh God, that's like the two worst things like you can put in a
In the
bug.
summer,
Like, yeah,
we
they
would
can,
literally-
they can jump and fly.
yeah,
like-
we would like just hang around the neighborhood and catch grasshoppers for fun, and then we would dare one kid at school to eat them, and and he did obviously because he was cool, but
What a boss.
he was a,
we hired someone.
he got her moment.
Yes.
Let's congratulate BB. More where that came from.
Yes.
She's got more, she says.
Yeah, she feels for the kid. Eating
does.
grasshopper. He was also the worm eater as well. Thank you. One shot for the worms out there.
And now he's got a hedge fund.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing fine now.
He is.
Now he's selling them as protein. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worm guy.
He's got some artisanal shop.
I got worms.
Oh, I went to this food festival here in Göttingen,
Okay.
and there was a stall, and they were selling like dead insects
Mm.
as a snack. Like it's a thing now.
Well, it was.
They're
a
like,
thing
oh,
in-
they
It's
have
always
so
been a
much-
thing,
It's always
right?
been a thing.
It's always been a thing, but now in Europe they're kind of trying like it's very natural. They have so much protein. It's really healthy.
That's so
You want to
funny.
try some? And everyone's like, nah, thanks.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just get some ice cream.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll get the one dipped inside my
That
ice
ice cream this long, and you want to move on.
unless
to
you have
insects?
unless you have some chili sauce with it. I don't know. Like
Hey, have you ever had insects?
no.
I swallowed I
Well,
was
yeah.
breathing and
I swallowed a bug.
I took a mosquito in.
Yo, biking with this weather is like the worst thing.
It sucks.
I think I broke my fast in Ramadan because I swallowed a few things which were flying around.
That would, as Rafi would say, that would kill.
Back home.
Yeah. It was,
Oh
No,
man.
you would get killed.
Or that, yeah.
and then I actually want to like bike like this when I bike, but then I
Yeah.
don't want to scare people either because it's like
I've done that. No, when I lived in Gröne, in the west side of town of Göttingen, I always did the sunglasses and the face
Yeah.
cover because you're gonna eat something.
Yeah,
or get in your
definitely.
eye and
yeah, that's even worse. Like it gets in, even through glasses. Like I don't know how, and then they get stuck. So I'm like, between my glasses. Oh man, it's the worst.
it is not fun. It's but there is a bug population here in Göttingen.
Yeah, yeah.
There is. We
Seasonal
are in
well.
nature. So.
We got a river, we got nature on all sides. Yeah, like Rafi was showing me on Google Maps Taka,
Mhm.
and like it was actually a concrete jungle. Like just going through the city was such a like what how I think they would draw up a map for the Amazon. And then above Taka you see the green and you see all like the
But no one has
Is
time
it
to go there.
mountainous?
No, no, we have hills, but no, we don't have mountains.
Okay.
but it's
And
still
the hills we have, they're still cutting them down because we don't have space for people, so we're cutting the hills down
shit.
for apartment
Like the
complexes.
hills to make them flat, or you mean like the trees up there?
You shave it off
Okay.
little by little, and then it's flatlands, and then you build buildings and whatnot to make space for people.
I guess.
I mean, procreation is our national sport, so it makes sense.
I
World
see.
champions. No, yeah, but I mean, you can see like the idea of I live in my concrete house, and then something from the greens place comes.
Yeah.
I think you told me about a field trip as well. I can't remember.
A field trip?
Did you go up there one time? I can't remember.
I mean, with the helicopter parenting, I don't imagine they would ever let me go to a
Good
field
point.
trip. But
Yeah.
yeah, we did have once, but it was like so supervised. It's like a small safari reserve, nature reserve, national reserve, something. I mean, we
And you're
look
like,
for.
I see this in
I mean,
my-
we look for tracks, of course, like tigers and shit, but we didn't see them. But yeah, they're around somewhere down south.
Do
And,
tigers ever wander into town?
no, I mean down south where it meets the ocean, we have our national forest, and it's pretty much like the Amazon, but like tiny compared to the Amazon. So a lot
Yeah.
of it we don't really know what's out there. It's not really that documented.
You guys don't learn about that when you're kids, like in school?
No, we learn about it as a heritage thing, but not
Okay.
like a run for your life.
Is
kind
it
of thing.
protected? Like, is it?
It
like,
is. It is protected now,
Yeah.
and yeah, poaching's not a big thing because we already poached it 50 years ago. So I don't think we have that many tigers left.
Yeah, because I
anymore.
was about to say, like, isn't the Bengal tiger?
Yeah,
like
we
a real,
that's our
like a-
national animal, the Royal Bengal tiger.
Wow.
So we have a few, and they're huge, huge. And it's a big thing for trade. Getting the honey and whatnot. Elephants as your taxi over there. You got the shit. You got everything that you can like
Yeah.
imagine stereotypically, and it's there.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
wonder-
crazy. I mean, for someone to explore that part,
Like, all countries have like a national animal, right?
yeah.
What's Holland's?
I don't know. Now, like, I don't know. They don't.
Hay probably.
Windmill. Something
Windmill.
like that.
Windmill. a wild windmill.
Whoa! That's a wild windmill! Everyone, get your cameras out. Shh, be quiet. Don't approach. Timmy, get away!
Well,
we
I
need
guess
to-
with national birds, you can like
Yeah, I mean, every
have
state
that.
has a state bird.
a state bird. Okay.
Wisconsin state bird's the American robin.
Is that?
Yeah. Got
okay.
that tattooed on my wrist. And yeah, but in the U.S., like 7 states have the American robin, so.
Okay. Is it
And
the
every
same
s-
one, or is it like a different version of the?
I mean, technically, it's a different.
The pictures from a different angle.
But
it's
they,
the same one.
but it comes from what kind of bird is very popular, or very specific for that region, right? Like,
Region, yeah, it's region.
it's not like we
locked.
like this, so we're gonna just call
I
this
mean,
our.
the U.S., the state thing is very region, has its own.
Okay,
regional
list of national animals. Go on. I'm just gonna.
every state is like unique in itself, and they
Yeah.
have their own like regional sense and pride. So I think for the majority, like every state may not care 100% about its bird, but then they'll care about their flower or like
Oh, yeah,
the state
national
flower or
flowers.
the. Yeah, so we have national bird. You can guess the bald eagle.
I mean,
Bald
rightfully so.
eagle.
I mean, look at the size of the state.
I'm just
the
hearing
size
that
of a country.
screeching sound,
so
like a
of course, you'll have animals and birds.
exactly, yeah, and you're right. It's like every state has its own national
And so
park
unique
or state
in
parks.
the ecosystem.
Word. So that's why I was like in the South. I guess Bengal in the nature
Makes
reserve
sense, yeah.
Makes sense.
I see here.
For us
like,
in the city, the national animal is probably cement. Or something.
oh, they have like
Cement.
as national animals. They have for United States. They have bald eagle as a national bird, but it's like just part of that whole national animal thing. And the American bison.
Yeah, I
Bison.
guess. Bison.
Bison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Mm.
If you call someone that they're as fat as a cow, that's an insult. But if you say they're as big as a bison, isn't that more loving? That's a
Yeah,
good.
definitely. Yeah.
The
For
Netherlands
sure.
has a lion as its heraldic symbol, but it doesn't say national animal.
Where'd you steal it from?
No, dude. Lions used to be in Europe.
What?
Yeah, in like the year
Yeah.
1000.
How would they survive?
They stopped. they
It's
all
really
died.
like on like national symbol things, like the.
They,
that's why
they
they
were
do-
murdered. Like
Yeah, they do royal
Extincted.
everything, like royal stuff.
How long
Yeah,
are we
like-
talking about?
It's-
Like extinct when?
the lion left, I think if you go way back, you can actually track the lion species leaving Africa and then going to Europe and then even getting into the US through the Siberian Peninsula. I think lions this happened to horses as well.
So that's what I'm thinking. In the present climate, I don't know how a lion would be able to survive.
You're right. I totally agree. But the lions, we have lions in the US.
Yeah.
The bobcat, the mountain lion, but the species of lion that was in Europe, I think, was exterminated like after
Lions are interesting.
human hunting. So
I watch a lot of Rogan episodes.
Yeah.
So in Joe Rogan, he would be talking about, how he'd go for a run, and he lives in LA. So they have a lot of mountain lions.
yeah, they do.
And it's almost sadly like a regular thing to see that someone's been attacked or killed by a
By the
mountain lion.
lions.
Yeah, when they run hills around the
Just
whole
let them
Hollywood
live.
area. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, it's funny because the hills outside of LA are really beautiful. It's surprising when you go there. You're expecting the Hollywood idea, and then you look in the background, you're like,
and you're just being chased.
I mean, it's through smog, but you see in the background, you're like, whoa, those are actually pretty big mountains.
Yeah.
And there's some awesome national parks out there and state parks in California. Recommend a ton of those. Still need to go to them. But yeah, there's mountain lions.
Well, like if that's the thing, I think humans are just taking up more space.
In Mumbai, you have
But
cheetahs.
actually in the US, it was an issue where they were exterminated, like almost completely. So mountain lion, I think this happened with wolves in Wisconsin. We had
What do you mean? Like they
Like
died
game
out
hunting
of?
or something?
so game hunters
Okay.
or hunting them for their pelts for
Yeah, that's what I
sport.
mean. Like humans are just
But the problem with right now is
Yeah.
because of efforts to bring them back, our problem isn't now with
It's like a population
hunting
thing too,
them.
right?
Now it's population control.
Conservation, I guess.
So yeah,
yeah, that's
But the problem isn't now we have too many. Like
Yeah.
so we brought them back. They're no longer endangered. Okay, what's the right amount now?
yeah.
So with wolves, you want to have wolves. Wolves are awesome, but after a certain amount, there's not enough deer, so the wolves are gonna try to find more food.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of sheep. Those look pretty tasty. I'm gonna die if I don't. So I mean
it's
it's
cool
like
to play God.
people who work on. I mean, I've spoken to people who work on and just visit frequently national parks and state parks, and they know more about endangered species and population control and park management. Unfortunately, popular opinion doesn't give a shit.
Even in Africa, you see news like someone posing with their kill, and the internet hates them.
Yeah.
But the locals will tell you they are invited. They go there and they pay good money
how
to
much
kill
money
an
they pay
animal.
to,
But
like-
it is also like
Yeah.
part of the conservation effort.
It's definitely.
Yeah,
Just
but
like
it's-
don't glamorize it. I guess that's the thing.
But like
no, but usually it's those kind of articles are usually of people who are actually not allowed to be there, or when they do, they pay people as a
Okay,
way
like
of corruption to
150,
get in there
500,000,
to
I mean,
just
just to
like
kill a lion or a giraffe.
hunt something they're it's rare, so they can get that.
But you see,
Instagram
like the
perfect picture.
potential for it to be
I do
helpful for the local
definitely,
community,
yeah.
right? Like the local people who run the safari, even though shouldn't be hunting,
They'll put you on their
There's
helicopter
potential.
and you can shoot.
Yeah.
because you could just name another species that the worst happened, and
Or like
completely
deer
gone.
or elk or something like you are still
I
hunting.
think it's like the albino rhinoceros was the most recent
I think
issue
that
that.
was
Is it gone?
The white one.
Yeah, I think it was the white one.
rhinoceros. Yeah,
Just
they have
paint another one. No one can.
Oh, no.
Do it for the kids.
It's. It was really sad. Okay, that picture. That was this picture of like where he died, and then there's this. They had a picture of him. Like, guys, that was the last one. So, it
Who
made
knows,
me
might,
really
might
sad.
come back. With science or some bullshit, they might try to
No,
bring it back.
There's a fair discussion.
They were able to bring back some extinct
I think there's-
species.
Yeah, there's a fair discussion about biodiversity in itself, especially with unique ecosystems. Obviously, the numbers says that more species are dying than are
Yeah.
being created new, but there's a fair discussion on if every single species should be maintained. I don't know.
Yeah, how
It's a
soon
weird,
before
I
like
don't know enough about it really to
Yeah.
we can't do too much. I mean, then
Exactly,
man's at the
yeah.
bottom of the pecking order,
yeah.
and then you're
Yeah. So it's a tough one to dive into, but should dive into it.
yeah.
The people who should be doing that should be the people who fucking work on those.
They do work
Parks.
on these things. I mean, the U.S. you can't test on animals or I don't know, chimps or monkeys.
Yeah, right.
But in China, you have certain laws where they do allow for brutal for the people, but they do allow for experiments on animals, and they're trying to find out new things and
Like new things about what? Like,
breakthroughs for like medicine for human beings, just to test them on
Oh,
animals.
I guess that's a little different, but yeah. It's still in the animal rights category though.
It is, yeah.
Because yeah, like rights groups, as far as animal testing goes, is a completely different ball game than it is for
Planet of the
Park.
Apes and those parts.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what Planet of the Apes did best.
Yeah.
I don't
Brought
know.
together the questions of animal testing, legitimacy, and
How do you feel
Park
about
management.
it?
Planet of the Apes, one of the few good reboots and like consistently good with the sequels also, I feel.
Mark Wahlberg.
No, he wasn't there.
He
The
did
new ones from the
Okay,
2011, I think
Yeah.
those ones. Forgot the guy's name. James Franco.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the first one, 2012 or 13, and
I gotta rewatch those.
great movies.
I haven't seen them, so I gotta watch them the first time.
I
What were you gonna say, BB?
Caesar.
What?
What were you gonna say? Oh,
She lost it.
she was
Yeah.
about to say
It's the
something.
hay fever.
It's all
It's
good.
the Hayfever, and also I was looking at this article to see like because you were saying about the animals like we're losing as a population,
Yeah.
as a group, and there was this article recently. And I just wanted to have the right number, so I
Fair
don't
enough.
just. So it says ultimately they found in that research that from 1970 till 2014, the size of vertebrate population has declined 60% on average. The kind of animals like the extinction rates are so high since the 70s till now. That became like a really well-read article all over the internet the other day because it was like a real number. Because
Yeah.
they keep on saying like, oh, this is going extinct, this is going extinct, but there was no real number to okay, like overall, how are we doing with animal populations? And it turns out to be like a really high rate of animals we lost since the 70s, which we're actually not going to get back or something.
Yeah, but like if you look at the history of Earth and the changes we've had,
No,
with
but it's
climate and
different.
shit,
It's-
we lost a lot of our species before
yes,
as
we
well,
did, but
and
it's
we're
different
continuing
this
to.
time. It's different this time.
Well,
we never,
before
we never
the
lost them to the reasons
Asteroids
we do now,
hit, and then things are back to.
No,
I don't know.
I
I feel
think
like it's crazy, but
I think it's just a sad prospect.
I mean, what do you think the issue with how it's presented now? So you said this article came out, and obviously, yeah, it's great to have a number.
It's just
But how can you inform people about the number other than the number?
other
That
than the
makes sense.
number. I
So
guess
you're saying like this is a problem, and obviously it's different.
I
from-
see. I think. Okay, wait. One of the things is I see there's a change in is like the documentaries we're getting. So first they were just like, oh, look at this pretty bird, like like David Attenborough voice, like this is a pretty bird lives.
Are
in
you shitting on
in a-
David?
No, I'm not. No, not.
we're gonna
He's
lose
a
a
precious
lot of
gem.
listeners.
Just
Baby,
conserve
please watch
him.
what you
Like-
say. That man is a national treasure.
We should
in every
clone him
country.
He should
before
be
we lose
preserved.
him. Yes. Yeah, he's a gem. No, but the documentaries that are coming out now are more. First, they were very focused on the animals itself, like look at the beauty and diversity we have on this planet. But now I am seeing, like, I like to watch nature documentaries, and the recent one I watched is called
Planet Earth, Blue Planet, or something.
Netflix.
Not, it's on Netflix. It's not Planet Earth. That's like a series, right? Like
Yeah,
they-
Planet
they-
Earth 2 came, I think, a year or two
No,
ago.
there's another one which came like recently, and David Attenborough, like he also did that one. I think it's not with BBC. The Planet Earth one is with BBC, but this one is just like on Netflix. And the way they made that documentary is so they take a population of, just as an example, take the penguins, and then they connect it to the types of water they fish in, and then the water that actually the stream goes towards, I don't know, so
Yeah.
say the north or the east. And then there they have a specific kind of bird, and that's connected all the way to the glaciers. And that's how they explain, like, we all know that these glaciers are melting.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is because these are melting, this whole chain of reactions is coming towards all these populations and birds. And this is how we are actually influencing all these things. And this is important because, and there's a
Exactly.
more concise argument why we need to care. And what are the actual things that are in danger, actually showing them as a chain of consequence, like, like this is going wrong, so this goes wrong, so this goes wrong. And more targeted towards the viewer, as in, if we care about this is what we keep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
So
but
I-
you have
yeah.
to explain.
Yeah.
You're totally right. You have to explain the connection.
Yes.
Explain why it matters, why the connection
Yeah.
matters, and then provide it in a digestible medium.
Exactly.
like,
That's how I felt. This documentary is different because usually I just feel like a feeling of appreciation, of awe after a documentary
Yeah.
like that. Just like, wow, that was really beautiful. But now I'm
Good
just
shit, bro.
now it's this documentary series was like I'm gonna look up the title
Sure, yeah.
later. How global warming and we as humans are affecting these things, and how that's actually going to change so many things and the processes we need on this planet to make sure that this keeps going on.
Yeah.
Is this a new thing over here though? Like as far as like, because for us, like in our books we had this just in academia, just for like students, for everyone to be vigilant about human activities.
Yeah.
So documentaries, it was always just like affirming for what you know already.
Yeah, I
what the
think
human
like what
beings
you
are doing.
Yeah, what you brought up earlier was a good point though, like the question of what we need
Yeah.
is something like you have to present to someone in a chewable form.
Yeah.
And
You
sometimes
know?
I feel like on an individual level, I don't think you can do anything. It's too tempting to have fun. I feel like I would need the government to limit the number of T-shirts I can buy, or like the number of water bottles.
Yeah.
Maybe then I can do something.
Or I think a lot of people they hear the glaciers are melting and you have to equate it to them as I need to buy less bottles of water in plastic.
Yeah, something
And-
went viral, like with a tortoise or a turtle.
But how many documentaries start out with me, normal guy,
Yeah.
and then they show
Dude, there are 50 documentaries doing this
I know
for years now.
exactly.
On Nat Geo Discovery.
Yeah.
If you're not watching them, you won't watch them in the next 2 years.
True.
It's just not your thing.
I just mean like showing me buying the plastic and then they show where the plastic goes, how it's made, and then they show the impact of the plastic and then they get to the penguins,
Yeah, exactly.
I think it should start from the schooling thing, because from the 5th or 6th grade, our books already showed like the picture of the map, and we turn the page, all the countries you lose, and then we see Bangladesh there and it's not there. So from the 6th grade, we were like given this date, 2025, your country's gone.
Yeah.
They do that.
Shit.
So it's pretty scary.
Super scary.
Yeah.
And when you find out about that, that's the ultimatum.
Yeah.
But no one explains the entire process of how you get there. For most people, it's going to take 50 years for them to understand that process.
Are good documentaries, well made, with a good story.
Not even
and
documentary.
whatnot.
Like, I'm talking physical features that the beach I used to go to is gone. The beach I used to go to is underwater.
But I feel
Now
like there
I
are
see.
viral pictures and videos of places which people used to visit
Dude,
as
that
a
doesn't
child.
affect me.
No,
though.
but
Yeah,
depends like how many
I-
people have access to the internet
Yeah, you're talking documentaries, and I
Yeah.
understand
and
like,
Netflix.
No,
a
I'm not.
subscription.
That's not even documentary. Like that's just articles out there, just with pictures of a before and after of like say 1990 to.
But Rafi's point
2019.
is like how does it affect the person who's
Yeah,
in
for
the
us it was
concrete jungle?
just books, and it wouldn't show up actually on the newspapers. So for us, I guess a big deal would not be losing the penguins; it would be losing the tigers.
Or for
But
you,
the thing is, the country is such that the headlines and the first few pages would be about murders and like whatever some political guy said. So it was
Yeah.
never
In
the
the
front
the
page. So
first-
we were just not exposed as much. So it's up to me if someone shares a link of some new documentary or some like image of like a turtle with a straw stuck in its mouth, and I can say, oh, that sucks, followed by some appropriate emojis, and I move on to the next funny video on YouTube.
I mean,
So
for,
it's just
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like country wise you're exposed, I guess, in a different way. So
I
I,
mean,
don't
just
know.
to go back to how we
Yeah.
describe Rafi's hometown, Taka.
Yeah.
Like we talked about. There's no animals.
And
you
we
know,
are the
and-
ones who are populating and like ruining the environment the
Yeah.
most.
But how could you convince someone how important animals are to the entire system or
Yeah.
ecosystem when it literally doesn't affect?
We are
My
right now
ecosystem.
chewing through the earth, just looking for natural gas to run the cars because petrol or gas, it's too expensive.
'Cause
but
they're
I guess
But
that's,
now then we won't have natural gas. So like how will we run our cars by electricity? Has like Elon Musk figured that out yet? No.
Hey, Elon.
So that for the next
No.
50 years we'll just do this. But then by then we have like
I
ruined
see-
the earth a little bit.
I see what you mean, but I think that's like one of the things that people in the West take for granted. The
No, but you have the
privileges
you have the luxury of like
the privileges
No, I
of
think
having
reflection.
What
to
she's saying.
yeah, the privileges of us. So, for example, if I went to Dutch school, Dutch education system, they hammered the ecosystem thing. They explain like how this all works and like how and the field trips and everything. So you're like, oh, animals are
Yeah.
so important. You get
Field
like
trips,
yeah,
bingo.
exactly. You get this whole story, and people have so many like there's these statistics that people in Holland are the people with the most pets in Europe or
Okay.
either the world. Just to give you an example, like animals are loved and this is important and caring about environments and
Yeah.
things like having separate bins for different things, like your plastics
Oh my
separate
gosh!
from
First time
metals.
I
Yeah.
met a Dutch person, she showed me pictures of her neighborhood, And the first thing I said was, wow, those houses are so small and so close together.
Yeah.
How do you all live there?
Yeah,
It's just so bullshit. But it's so true. And
it's
just
yeah.
the practices that they had there was already completely different from what I grew up in.
It's one of the most densely populated countries in the world, being so small and having this amount of people.
I did not know that.
You know, yeah.
Amsterdam, very dense.
Amsterdam, yeah, that's like
True.
a classic example. Like they made, okay, so we have a
They should
whole
have dents outside
province.
the museum.
We have a whole province which was non-existent, say 30, 40 years ago, which they filled up. There was this whole, in the map of like the Netherlands, you
Yeah.
had this whole gap of, with water.
Mm-hmm.
They filled it up with artificial sand. They made a whole new province, Flevoland, and which is now like getting populated by these young new families who want like more affordable houses.
Okay.
And it's working just because of the shortage of houses and everything, because it's so,
Yeah.
so many people.
Yeah, we do the same with rivers. No more rivers.
Yeah.
We have now just
Fuck.
fields.
Before, like, so for example, everyone was in awe when Dubai did that with the palm tree island and everything.
Yeah.
Netherlands was just like, okay, whatever.
No, but for us, it's also like we don't have a
10 years
choice. Everything's drying up.
Yeah.
So that's also a problem. Our country, it was known as a country of rivers because, it's connected to the Ganges, to the
Yeah.
Himalayas, everything. Now it's really nothing.
Yeah.
So we're building bridges, but over fields?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Survival
Dutch-
is so, like, moment to moment.
Yeah.
We just don't have the time to think of conservation.
I mean, I
It's
feel like
that.
this conservation stuff is even more potent when we're here in Göttingen, like just
Yeah.
from the German people we talk to, or getting to meet you guys.
Yeah.
And the moment you see that someone else looks at even like just a simple documentary differently, it really stays with you.
Yeah.
It makes you reflect.
But that's what I mean. Like, the point I was trying to make was that growing up in the West, it's a privilege that not everyone has to look at the world in a way that you think I should be contributing to making this a safer place for not only people, but also animals, and caring about the ecosystem and your coral reef and everything, when you have all these luxuries where you don't have people around you ruining this thing. Yeah, so it is governments who are making sure that the educational system is talking about this, who are making sure that all these other parts in society are actually striving to make their kids understand this. So when I went back to Pakistan for holidays, I didn't see anyone like separate their trash to, like send the plastics off somewhere else. No, it's just one
Yeah.
big garbage.
Did you bring it up?
But dude,
No, it's like, I bring it up, I tell them, but then they're
What did they
fascinated. They're just fascinated
Yeah.
that's a thing, but that's not gonna happen because nobody, even if people know, nobody's doing it, so you don't do it.
that's not the problem.
That's-
the
Yeah.
It's not. No, it's actually not a choice.
you think
When I first saw
I
it
mean-
here, it was like a revelation to me. When people tell me, "Oh, you should separate all these things,"
Yeah,
first thought is, "Shut up! Don't tell me how to separate my shit."
yeah,
Because it just never came to me like, "Oh, you should separate because it helps with the planet and everything."
yeah,
Back home, it's just like you have maybe one or two garbage bins and everything's going in the same thing.
yeah.
There is no time to do that because the electricity is gonna go in a few hours and that will be gone for 2 hours. So you cook everything that you can, do your showers or whatever, turn the AC on, have your room be cool because the electricity is going to go. So
Yeah.
like all these things which are going to go, so you pre-plan everything and you have so much to do, so much living to do that you don't have the time
Yeah.
for conservation. So I feel like with some development in our country, I guess with like electricity and like internet, once we have those things and kids are studying and
infrastructure.
Yeah.
not working in factories and
But
stuff,
like information
then
infrastructure.
maybe
you
then
mean
we
more.
can think about these things because it's kind of sad that it's only taught in the books but it's not followed up by practicality outside.
Exactly. So
But it's going to take us a while.
That's the thing. Like, it's not just reading in the books, like, oh, ecosystem, we should care about this, but also like, oh, it's important that you throw your plastic separately so it can be recycled, so you
Yeah.
don't, like that kind of. And
There's two
bio,
different infrastructures
yeah, exactly.
at play here. There's
Yeah.
the infrastructure that's already in place. So like when we come to Germany,
Yeah.
they have a waste management system.
We don't. We just have one dump for everything.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And so in
Yeah.
Germany, you have a waste management system that already separates it. And they're going to separate it regardless of how you put it into the trash.
Yeah.
You're just making their jobs easier.
Yeah.
Whereas, coming from where Rafid's talking,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not there. You could honestly all separate it and you still might not get
Yeah,
the
because
people.
at the end level there needs to be someone who's actually caring about making that a recyclable
Yeah, these things, it has to be
structure.
enforced.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
so
no one will
that's
learn.
governments who have to help around. It's like educational systems, all these unions who support people to take part in these projects. I believe people care about living sustainable and like having durable solutions to the problems they have. But living in a developing country compared to the West, where everything is just so, it's easy. Like when I have this conversation or I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a very privileged place for me to say like, yo, you guys should be caring about, like the ecosystem. Yeah, I was brought up in a country where that was like a given. It's just a little bit of effort for me to say or post something about, the coral reefs are dying, whereas people, are just struggling with basic needs.
True.
Yeah, it's a diverse issue.
Yeah, it's a wealth issue as well.
Yeah,
it's a wealth issue.
I mean, yeah, it cuts into everything. And
yeah,
it's really hard. I think even like any format, like not just a documentary format, it's hard to write an article about the issue and then not approach the problem in the diverse ways that it takes to actually answer how it needs to be approached. So,
wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, I mean. I don't know.
I think today was the most mature episode we had.
I don't know, yeah. I like what you said, though. It's little steps.
Yeah.
Baby
little
steps,
things.
yeah.
Baby steps?
Baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah.
Well, the thing is, there are these really, really beautiful initiatives, because the recent one I read was this guy in India who lives in Mumbai, and he saw the whole beach actually just disappear because the beach was so scattered with plastic, and like there was so much trash that the beach literally disappeared. And he just started to take a garbage bag and just...
It was a trend, right?
Yeah, and then he started a trend, and more people joined it. But in the beginning, everyone was like, "Are you crazy? You're never gonna get this cleaned up, and it's disgusting, and it's all this other people's trash, and like the shame attached to cleaning someone else's trash."
That was my trash.
Yeah. I like my plastic over the beach.
Yeah.
And he started cleaning this, and he asked his friends to join. So after like a while, when they saw, this guy's really persistent, they started helping him out. And then more and more people in the city started to come out and help him on the times he like used to.
It was all over the internet.
It was all over the internet.
Yeah.
It became like even
all
Bollywood,
over the world then.
Bollywood celebrities started to join, help him
Who
clean
are
up.
gods in that country.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they cleaned up the whole beach, which is like so many kilometers long. It was a really long coastline, and it got all cleaned up. And they said like for the first time in I think it was like 22 years, they had little turtles hatch in that sand and run towards the water. And he was actually just crying, like he couldn't believe the beach is finally so clean that there's finally just animals coming to the beach again.
Wow.
It was beautiful. And now he's starting that same project in other areas of the country, where he's just asking schools to join, just kids, and just taking these plastic
Traveling
bags.
beach man.
Yeah, and I think that
where your plastic at?
that actually started a trend in like Indonesia and Singapore and like all these other countries, because they saw that and they were like, yo, we should just make a group and start cleaning our own beaches, because we can't wait for the government to come with the trucks, and nobody's doing that. They have other issues,
Our numbers,
Exactly. So it's beautiful. It can happen. That has nothing to do. It's just how much effort are you willing to put it in? Like,
every day now.
Every day. Yeah. That's the thing. That was pretty nice actually.
Yeah, you can't demand it from people, but you can see people demand it of themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And start to organize.
Yeah.
Just another BB step in the process. Organize. Yeah. But no, I definitely that's I always come as a skeptic sometimes to that stuff, but that's definitely the move forward in that direction. So
that's just your own effort.
Home,
yeah,
for sure.
Your own effort. And that's the thing. I think we're also so focused on making that big gesture, like having that big influence, big change. Whereas you only have to worry about your own environment. If everyone just does it around themselves, it's a chain reaction in its own way. Like everyone is just growing up now wanting to be this, I'm gonna change something in the world, like this big influence, right? But we don't need we don't need to do that. Just do it in your own life, in your own environment. Like if you're in Göttingen, just do it in Göttingen, in your own flat or your own wherever you live, and that's good enough. Don't pressure yourself by thinking you need to be this great influencer or changer. And
we are connected globally, but don't think that's how your influence has to.
Don't get depressed about the beaches in a developing country when you can just definitely do something in your own neighborhood.
Yeah, you can influence the glaciers by focusing on the little glacier.
Yeah,
in
little
your
glaciers.
backyard.
You're looking for a tagline.
Yeah, I'm looking for the tagline. BB's already nailed it. She's laying down taglines right now. I'm actually.
I did.
Do we have a soapbox around here? Because I just want to sit here and listen. Hey, your hay fever seems to have gone.
My hay fever. Hay fever is scared of global warming.
Yeah, all this was like today was BB's fuck you to the hay fever. Like,
Yeah,
hence
like
all the
really,
talk.
like I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna just do my thing.
I enjoyed it. Hope you listeners out there enjoyed it. Yeah, it was mid-June.
We'll see on the next episode how the hay fever's doing. And
Yes,
we'll check
exactly.
on the penguin count again.
Like,
We
For
hope
the
it rains
penguins
as well.
and for people.
and
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
This has been
You
the
have.
caramels.
This has been the caramel. Nice, yeah. But for real.
No
like,
animal fat.
No, I mean, if Bibi was a virgin. Und das war der 9. Folge gefüllt mit wissenschaftlichen Gesprächen von Englisch studierenden Studenten, die sich den Caramels nennen. Bis zum nächsten Mal, euer Caramels.